Do you think we were ever taught to question everything or anything?
Nah, don't think so, man.
Did you think that kind of damaged us, or damaged our ability to critically think and question?
Oh, for
And
sure. For me personally, I can tell you about it like later on, but yeah, personally for me, it damaged me a lot. Because imagine if you don't have the ability to critically think for yourself and make your own life choices, you know? So, like for example, let's say if you're stuck in a situation where you don't have your parents, your family, your parents, excuse me, your friends, to basically give you some support, and you're just stuck by yourself, and you have to make a decision right
Mhm.
there and
yeah,
right now. How are you gonna feel? You know, and you've never had that experience for a long time.
what do you think happens if no one in the world questions anything? None of us. You just live.
Personally, I think the world would be boring, man. Like,
You're right.
you know, like it
You're
would be very
absolutely right.
boring. Yeah, I feel like if people didn't question themselves, like, or question anything, then we wouldn't be having a lot of what we have right now. You know,
I think
like maybe the technology in our hands. Or
I think that would be the end of humanity. I
the
think-
apocalypse. You know.
Yes, if we stop, because I think the reason we might have survived so long is because a few of us have been questioning everything and maybe stopping the vast majority from being the crazy, insane animals that we really are. I think thanks to the few critical thinkers out there who have kind of kept us in lane. But what would really happen if we just don't question anything and we simply follow and obey every single thing we have been taught by society, parents, family, the system, culture, and whatever it is we believe in, religion, tradition, anything. Don't question it, just follow it. You realize it's going to be a big mess. It's going to be a big
Oh,
mess.
for sure, man. Oh, for sure.
I don't know.
Like for example, like if you really want to understand this, you gotta kind of take it back for a second. Like up, for example, let's see how our parents used to take it. They were never taught to question. They were taught just to do. Because let me ask you this: what would have happened during our parents' age if they questioned anything? What would have happened to them? For
Well,
example,
they were not allowed to.
they're not allowed to.
Most
But
people-
what would happen if they did?
Get smacked.
Get smacked, and then that got implemented to us when we were younger.
Yes.
But nowadays it's never being implemented. You know what I mean? Like, but
Mhm.
throughout our days, we were never taught to question. But they were more lenient on us. But for them back in
Yes.
their day, it was more like,
Too strict.
yeah,
more,
like,
more.
go take the trash out. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you never
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
said like,
yeah.
oh, just wait 2 minutes. Like do it now and right now. But
Yeah, you were just
You were
brought
taught
up
to
to
follow a
obey.
system,
You were
yeah.
just you're just a machine.
Mhm.
You're just a machine that takes orders.
And it's the same thing in schools as well. Like,
Yeah.
like they were always taught you gotta follow. Like for example, like if you ever had like for example, a math question, and then you were telling a teacher, so why does this formula work? You could have never told him that. Like, why does this formula go with this formula? For example, he would just smack you right away. No, this is the formula. That's how it's done. No questions asked. But a few people like left that norm and tried to do it on their own and try to figure it out on their own or ask for other people's guidance, and it worked. And then you see they start to question everything.
Yeah.
But taking it back to basically how it was for us growing up, especially in this era, like let's say the late 2000s. Technology, man. Technology plays a big role in how we shape and how we ask questions, which
You're right.
basically makes us go and follow the system, of following trends, following the news, following media. So it's also making us not be that original person that we want to be,
Because have you noticed, for example, when you go to a lot of countries, in that country, most people wear the same style clothes, listen to the same type of music, They generally love the same type of food. They generally have the same haircut, same hairstyle, same even the cars they drive. Whatever car that's common in that region, it's usually very similar. So, which makes you wonder: is there anyone that's original out there? Because if I go to this country, they all have the same diet, they all look the same, they all have the same haircut. They even when you go to college, for example, you realize that the vast majority of students in that specific country are studying this specific major in college. What does that tell you? Like everyone's just following the majority. Okay, my cousin studied this, my older brother studied this, my mom studied this, so I'm just going to study the same thing, as well. So I guess it really makes you question, how original are we?
You've made me think of something, because my entire family, they're all in that field of business, from my dad to my mom.
Your dad was a banker, right?
My dad was a banker. Once my sisters graduated from university, so my eldest sister, when she graduated from uni, she went straight into the banking, HR, corporate world. I always asked her, like, was there something else you want to do? She never gave me a right answer. I don't think she ever wanted to do anything. But my elder sister wanted to go do some designing courses. Like I think she wanted to be like an interior designer or something. My dad told her, no, go to business.
Oh God.
She said, go do business, because the future is business. Like the corporate world is the future.
Exactly. You see my point.
So she went and she did that. So all of them were in the business world.
So even the one that wanted to be an original and wanted to be thinking independently, she was not allowed to be original. She was not allowed to pursue her dream or passion or
because
whatever.
There was no future for whatever she wanted. But at that time, and that was like 10 years ago.
Either that, or maybe society just thinks there is no future for you. What if you can create a future for you from that profession you're studying, right? I agree. You should also study the general market to see whatever major I'm studying. Is it going to be in demand in 4 or 5 years or 10 years? But then you realize if everyone, for example, is going to study the same. Let's suppose everyone studies medicine. In 7 years, the entire country is going to be filled with physicians and doctors, and there's no way in hell you can tell me all of them are going to be employed, right? So, but yeah, it always makes me wonder, how original are we? Are we really doing what we want to do, or are we doing, what society wants us to do? Are we just machines, or are we really independent humans, capable and able of critical thinking and independently thinking?
See, personally, for me, I think people do want to be original nowadays. These people that want to be different, they want to be original. But nowadays, if I don't know if you'd agree with this, but it's kind of hard to be original, especially today, because technology, social media, everyone's doing something. Imagine if you wanna, for example, you said you wanted to start this podcast. You said you wanted to call it specific name, and you said someone already took it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to be original nowadays if you really, really think about it. But I don't blame anyone for that, because there is just so much information out there. So it just gets very hard for someone to be as original as they can.
I agree.
And then once they see they can't do that, they would just follow with whatever's on the trend.
But what happened to being creative?
See, that's where we were discussing about how the education system was back in the day. I can't imagine it would the system allowed you to be as creative, because I'll tell you something. Whenever there is any budgeting issues in any school, especially in the West, what would be the first thing they would cut off from budgeting schools? You think about it.
Sports? What is that? I don't know.
Arts and music.
Arts and music. Well,
arts and music would be the first thing they would cut off. Statistically speaking, any school that would go through budgeting issues and they can't afford anything, they would first cut off arts and music. So that's number one. Number two then will be sports, because they can't cut off academics. Academics has to be recognized by each government to see that this student has progressed in all of the core subjects. So you can see the creativity is kind of dying off at this point. Because what if someone was very good at sports? You did not give him that chance. What if this girl was good at drawing? You did not give her that chance. So now it's more leading towards to corporate. You know, I love the idea of being a child, especially during your teenage years, because you're really trying to find yourself and where you belong. So imagine if you don't have that, basically, that right, or that basically that idea that you can have that, they can try that, you know, because school is the best way to pursue that, you know. But
You see, well, I'm no expert to talk about this, but I think one of the problems with the education system worldwide is that we are imposing the same subjects and the same topics and the same curriculum on everyone. Okay, while to be fair, we're born with different mental capacities. We're born with different abilities. We're born with different passions. We're born with different desires, and we're born with different goals. Okay, so you cannot, for example, go like, all right, this is the classroom. There's a monkey. There's a lion. There's a snake, and there's a rabbit, and there's an eagle. Okay. This is your test. All of you have to go diving right now. Okay. So you realize the same test. Well, okay. If it's diving, no, there should be a fish with them as well. Okay. Only the fish is going to pass that exam, right? Only the fish is going to pass that test. Or you go like, all right, a fish, a tiger, a snake, and a bird. Okay. This is the tree. This is the test. You guys got to climb the tree. Not everyone's going to be able to climb the tree because by nature we're designed differently. We have the same body, 2 legs and all that from the outside, but from the inside we have a different drive. What if you were born to be a genius mathematician? What if you were born to be an intelligent therapist, for example? What if you were born to be an entertainer? What if you were born to be a singer? What if you were born to be a chef? Why do I have to study all these things that other people are studying while you could invest in me and make me study what I'm passionate about? And I'm not saying I should not study math and on and on and on, but maybe, emphasize on the things I'm passionate about. If I'm passionate about art, give me more art time and teach me a little math, a little chemistry, maybe, whatever. I'm not sure if I've used chemistry in my entire life since I've graduated from high school. Okay. Or maybe if someone is really into math, okay, I'm not saying deprive him from participating in sports or music or art, but focus on giving him what he's good at and passionate about, as opposed to just imposing the same subjects on everyone. And then we wonder why we're failing at school. Well, because I'm not interested in math, I'm more interested in history. You're not interested in history, you're more interested in music. That person is not interested in music, they're more interested in medicine, for example. So I think, in my humble opinion, that's one way that we can increase creativity in the society by, seeing what every child is passionate about and pushing them in the direction they're passionate about, and in whatever field they seem to shine in.
did you read the about Finland and Sweden?
Tell me.
Okay, so because all these points that you were bringing up made me think about this a lot. So why this person has, like you said, this person can be good at these sort of subjects and this person can be good at that sort of subject. So like it's just basically depending on personalities and preference. So in Finland and Sweden, one of those 2 countries, I'm not sure which one, I assume it's Finland. Finland did start using that study and that program that you just mentioned. So the program was to take each student and see what they're very good at. So whether, for example, They're more practical when it comes, like if they were more practical with their hands, they were geared more towards engineering. If they were more creative in their minds of how to explain things, they were more drawn to the arts. If they were more like they had more memory skills, they would be maybe more towards the academics, the normal academics, that like math, arts, English, like all of the math and English and science and all those. So they would see all of the students and where they would be very good at, and they would put them in certain basically subjects so they can thrive at it. What happened? Percentages go up. It resulted in a better mood, in a better approach coming to school. It resulted in better grades,
better performance. Yeah,
dude, performance skyrocketed. Like,
because everyone's doing what they love.
Because now, the education in Finland, it's amazing. That's what should be implemented nowadays. And now they're thinking more for themselves. They're giving them the idea to think more for themselves. Now, because you know why? The first step was, what do you want to study? So you gave the authority to a child of what they want to do, and they're doing it. You know? So one person said, hey, I'm more geared towards sports. So okay, so what does sports need? It does need the core essentials. So for example, you need to understand math to understand sports as well. There's a bit of math involved. There's a bit of science involved. So you take these courses, but you're more focused towards sports. Like for example, if you want to do football, you're going to be doing football a lot. You're going to stay for after school programs. So there is a system there that really does work, because it's affecting mood. It's bettering the mood actually. Mental health is increasing. Physical health is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
More people are drawn to go to school more, so the attendance rate became way better because they're liking it. There's nothing to hate about it anymore. You're going and doing what you want to do, because don't forget, school is 17 years of your life. So it's a long process, you know. So
it's technically 12, but
you know what I mean.
By the time, but it takes 17
with kindergarten,
years.
What is it, like 6, like, you know, whatever, 13, 14 years. But it's a long process. So you gotta like what you're doing.
It's a big chunk of your life.
Yeah. So why is it because Finland is doing it? Why can't we do it the same way? You know. So I believe once I mentioned to you earlier, I believe the education system is steadily progressing and it's getting better, especially in this part of the world, which I really like. Let me tell you a story about me in school. I remembered, once you were talking about your chemistry class, I remembered my chemistry class. I am horrible at science. Like I was horrible at science in school. Like, don't ask me any question, especially chemistry. I remember I went into class and the teachers, like, I remember the first thing the teacher said: you stay quiet in class, you listen, you're gonna pass this class. 2 things he said: stay quiet and listen. I stayed in the back. I did not say a word for the entire year. I did horribly, and I passed with flying colors. And for me, the type of person that loves to go to school, I loved going to school when I was a kid. I loved it so much because of the after-school activities, being social around people. I have the whole package, you know. But I wanted to do good in my classes as well, but I just never did, because I don't want to relate that memory, you know, because it just doesn't sound right. How did I pass with flying colors in chemistry and I didn't listen to a single word he said?
I'm gonna guess you cheated.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Everybody cheated, man, in chemistry. Yeah. Like, I was that bad at it. The classes where I was good at was IT, sports.
Things you're still passionate about.
Yeah, I love computers. Like, it's more of a hobby for me. Well. I loved sports. I always used to do good at it. So when like anything within that creative side of the tech and sports, I did good. History, I did wonderful at it. You know, I loved history. But anything else, man, I was just stayed quiet and like sweet talked every single teacher into giving me like A's and stuff, and it kind of worked. So
I don't know, man.
Like, you know, when you like in the future when your kids come in from home, like from school, and every time you ask them, so how was school, you want them to give you a good answer, don't you? You know what I mean?
I don't think about having kids. So how about just use that example on yourself?
If my kids come in, okay, hypothetically speaking, whatever, if my kids come in one day and if I ever ask them, like, so how did school go? Like, how was school? I would expect a good answer, Like, oh, we did, I don't know, like, we worked on our solving equations or whatever it is, like, we tried to really work on it today, and the teacher, like, for example, gave us games to kind of memorize it. So you talked about what you did, and you went into detail on how you did it.
Yeah.
When I used to come back from school,
what
did you learn today?
Horrible.
I don't know. I slept the entire class. I don't remember anything. I don't
do
remember.
You miss school?
I miss school so much, man.
You do?
I do.
Are you serious?
I do.
I don't miss a single day. I don't.
Like I said, I'm not the teacher's pet. I used to be like one of the bad kids in school, but I loved going to school because like there was like something I could do every day.
No.
I love that part.
I never ever missed a single day of school. Might have missed a single days of college here and there, but school, as in all the way to high school, nothing. Not even a single day.
Why is that?
What's so difficult, man? There you go. Can I get some coffee? I don't know, just no good memories, because I think we were all going to school just because our parents wanted us to go to school to get good grades, and so the grades to them mattered more than us learning something. I think we were all going to school hoping we get good grades, not hoping we learn. But now when you grow up, you realize that you can learn a lot, but you can still fail a test. So what? I mean, a piece of paper does not determine if I know or not. A piece of paper does not mean I'm qualified, and a piece of paper does not do me fair.
I believe the right attitude is what gets you, to it.
It's knowing. It's knowing anything. You play bass, I play guitar, just a little bit. But have you studied music? Have you gone to a music school?
Never.
Okay, so you and I can at least go through a song and not totally embarrass ourselves. We could just play a little bit, okay? But then what if you go to music school and you can read all the notes? You could literally read everything on those weird looking papers and whatever, but you can't play an instrument.
God, that would be horrible.
Yeah, you're going to qualify from that school, and it says, yes, you're qualified to read notes, you graduated, you did great, but what's the point if you cannot play an instrument? And that's what I'm saying. So a piece of paper does not mean anything. It literally means nothing. A piece of paper shouldn't be how we evaluate people. A piece of paper should never tell people how worthy I am. That shouldn't determine my worthiness, I guess.
If I ever owned a business, and then I would require people to come in, I would never. For example, if a guy came to me without a degree but has so much experience, and a guy came to me with a degree, I would go with whoever had a good attitude. Like, for example, if the guy came to me and doesn't have a degree, came to me with a wonderful attitude, I would take him instead of the guy with a degree, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because he has the experience of it, and he has knowledge, but he comes to me with a very fresh perspective attitude. Like, hey, I'm here to work. I'll take him with flying colors, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even blink thinking about it. I'm good. But these are the things, man, that I wish the originality for us kicks in. Like, for example, the Finland example comes in, because once we have that, when we grow up, we have so much life decisions, that we've experienced, so we know how to handle life better, so we know what we want. So, for example, we want to know what we want to study in college, then we want to know what we want to work, and we want to, major in, or work for the rest of our lives. I've had a lot of, if I'm being honest with you, I was very spoiled when I was a kid. Very spoiled. So I did not make a lot of life choices. When my dad passed away when I was 16, here's where it kind of kicked in. I'm like, okay. So in the beginning, I don't know if you ever had a family member, go away, so you feel very sad and Now you're overwhelmed. You don't know what to do. You feel like you're lost, especially for a guy that lives with just women at home. And it's just me. So now, because you don't have the father figure, so now you have to take initiative for yourself. So a lot of people always used to tell me, okay, yes, he's past you, but you have to look at the bright side of everything. It took me till last year to figure out it took me till 2 years ago to find out what was the bright side in all of this. I made my own life choices starting when he passed away. So I took myself out of that being spoiled type guy, So I'm kind of late to the party, but better late than never, So made my own life choices. I decided I want to travel and study abroad. I'm gonna live by myself. I'm gonna take care of myself, So when I come back here, I'm ready to take the next step of my life. So these are the things where I'm very proud of, and I looked on the bright side of all of this, So I'm more independent now. I'm taking more life choices. I'm not really following that system anymore of being spoiled and following what everyone says. No, I'm being more of myself. So I'm very happy for that, That because it just flipped me 180 degrees, So I knew what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. I think in a lot of situations in life, we have to be put under pressure to for that sense of responsibility to kick in and feel like, okay, now on my own, I'm on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta think on my own. I gotta decide on my own, and I gotta be responsible. And for me, that kicked in when I traveled. When I started traveling alone, I learned not to be dependent. I learned to get over a lot of fears I had, and I learned to. It just opens your mind to a lot of things.
Did it lead you to question things like?
Oh, traveling?
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. Oh,
absolutely, because you meet people.
Yeah,
and that's why I always say traveling is the best education.
Yeah,
because what you learn when you're traveling, they don't teach you in school. They don't. At the end of the day, let's face it, school. The hell?
I'm a monster today. I'm sorry, dude.
At the end, how much time do we have? We're good? All right. At the end of the day, schools. I mean, you realize if you learn history in country A, it's not going to be the same as history in country B if country A and B had a war against each other. Everyone's going to be demonizing the other one, and everyone's going to be making a hero out of themselves. So, all these books will not teach you the truth. A lot of these books will not teach you the truth because, like they say, history is always written by winners. So when you travel and you meet a lot of people and you talk to a lot of people, you're exposed to so many other ideas, other ways of thinking, other mentalities, other perspectives, and that makes you, question a lot of things. Why do these people don't eat meat? Why do these people eat meat? Why do these people, eat every kind of meat except for beef, And why do these people, prefer a plant-based diet? Why? And it makes you, question a lot of things. Like, okay, are we all right? Are we all wrong? If we're right, who's wrong? Who's wrong? Who's right? And on and on and on. I'm not saying there has to be someone right and wrong all the time, but it just makes you question things because we are taught that you can eat this, you can eat that. For example, I remember there was an ad once. I'm not sure where I was driving, but there was a big billboard. It had a picture of a dog, a cat, and then a cow and a sheep. Okay, and there was a line in between dividing, and it said underneath, where do you draw the line? Like, why is it that you eat the two on the right, the cow and the sheep, and you don't eat the dog and the cat? So. But then again, that's not applicable everywhere because you go to another country and go like, oh, we don't care, we eat cats and dogs, okay? But it's good to question, like, why do we have this diet? Why do we eat this and not eat that? Why do these people, believe you shouldn't eat this? Why do Muslims not eat pork or have to eat something that's slaughtered a certain way? Or why do Jewish people pretty much follow the same thing? Why do Hindus, don't eat beef? Why do on and on and on, all these different diets? Why are these people vegetarian? Why are these people vegan? So it just makes you question a lot of things when you see people. Why do these people dress this way? Why do these women in this part of the world cover, and then women in that part of the world think that if you cover, you're oppressed? And
well, it is a matter of like cultures and norms and values. Like, we can't deny that, but
that's when you question everything.
Yeah, that's when you question everything.
You question everything.
But like coming up to your traveling example, understanding it is like the best way, because now you're seeing it with your own eyes. It's like the same thing with like when those guys that are very skeptical.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that guy, that magician, he has something under the table, like But once they see it for themselves, they're like their minds are the most that's blown away. So it's the same thing with traveling. Because you've just read about these people, on a book, but once you've seen them, it's a totally different ball game. You know.
Yeah, I know.
So it makes you question, hey, what was fed to me from the start?
Exactly.
What was actually fed to me from the start?
Why were we fed lies? This is $1 million question. Why were we fed lies? Lies could be fed to you from anywhere, from school, from media, from TV, from books, from certain religious institutions. Okay, you could be fed lies from anywhere. So that's why it's very crucial, very important that you question everything. Question everything. Everything you hear, everything you read, everything you see. Question it. Why? Okay? Because every single thing we were taught since we were kids. We didn't choose to learn. We were taught. We never chose who teaches us and what we're taught and where we were taught from. No, as kids, we didn't have the choice to reject any kind of information. We were just taking it in. Society feeds us something, parents feed us something, family feeds us something, school feeds us something, the TV, books, whatever, everything. And so we just took everything in, and maybe, just maybe, a lot of it was wrong. Okay, so that's why as an adult, you choose what information you let in and what information you don't give access to get into your head. So that's why I guess at some point in life we gotta stop and
go back and
and what I like to say, unlearn what you've learned and relearn what you should have learned.
It's good to take a fresh perspective on it.
Always, whatever it is, And even when it comes to your faith and religion, don't be scared to question it. Because if your religion is really solid, for example, if your belief is really solid, if your diet, if the reason behind why you eat what you eat is very solid, then you shouldn't be scared of questioning it. Because even if you question it, it's still going to lead you to the same decision if it's rational. You're only scared of questioning things when you're scared to find the truth.
Yeah.
Because if you're not scared to find the truth, you're not going to be scared to question anything. I'm only going to be scared to question something when I almost know I'm wrong, and I know that if I find the truth, I'm under a moral and a mental obligation, or a logical obligation to change my mindset and change my actions and change my behavior.
How do you think, but though, the future of questioning things is like,
we're screwed.
You think so?
Oh, we're screwed.
Because with my background working in the educational industry, I'm seeing a lot of change. Especially nowadays.
You realize I'm a teacher too, right?
Yeah. So basically, when I used to go to schools and shadow some of my my clients, I would sit down in the classes and I would be very interested to see what the education, what they're being taught basically by their teachers and stuff. I love the new twist, especially Bahrain is taking so far with the new private schools. Um, a lot of it was focusing on mental issues, like how people, how students portray things. So there's a lot more meditation classes now in school. Just imagine, a lot more breathing classes. So because they're teaching them now to think and tell them, like, to show them basically that, hey, we're not going to rush things now, we're going to take it one step at a time, so let's breathe, like, let's calm down and really critically think about things, you know. And I like that, I really do like that.
How many
What do you think of the future of this topic, basically, of like critical thinking?
I think we're screwed.
Why is that?
I think we're screwed. Let me see.
Because I have a different approach to it from what I'm seeing, you know.
Because you see, with social media, a lot of us have been exposed to great wealth of information, but then even with social media and internet and all these information outlets out there, a lot of them are spreading misinformation, and now you got a big chunk of people in the world that think they're following the truth, which I could be one of them too, think they're following the truth, but they're dead wrong. Because there's so much information out there. I guess the process of digging or separating truth from lies has become even more difficult. And I think people are not doing the due diligence that should be done. They're not doing the research that should be done in order to find the truth. I guess most of us, by nature, as human beings, we stop where we want to stop. We read and read and read until we find what makes us comfortable, and we just pretend like it's the truth. Whether we're reading about religion, spirituality, politics, economy, diet, whatever, we read until we get to the point that's like our comfort zone. Oh yes, this feels good to me. But with truth,
there's more to it.
The truth does not give a damn about your feelings. The truth doesn't necessarily make you feel good. Sometimes the truth can make you feel really uneasy and uncomfortable, but that's the truth. Because the truth doesn't care about your opinion. The truth does not care about your belief. The truth does not care about your feelings, your emotions. Your emotions is between, you need to handle it. You need to grow up and be mature and learn how to handle your emotions and feelings. The truth does not care about your feelings or emotions or your belief or your opinion or what you think is right and what you may hold sacred or holy or whatever. The truth does not care about that. So I guess a lot of what we see today is that I start reading about a topic, and I'll only stop where I find my comfort. I don't dig deeper because subconsciously I don't really want to find something else.
I just want to find the answer I'm looking for.
I just want to find the answer I'm looking for. And so once I get to that point, I just stop. Okay, I found the truth. Hey, how about you look at it from another perspective? Because you may be wrong. No, I'm not interested. So I think that's what's happening now.
But I think in order for that to happen, we need to look at how on the education system it's being implemented on students to properly think.
How are they doing that?
So I have a bit of experience working with the working in the education system in here in Bahrain, and with my very limited experience from shadowing my students and listening to what they're being taught, I'm seeing a lot of change, which is actually very good, and I love this sort of change. So now what I see in schools, they're more focused on the students, especially their well-being. Now the students' well-being is like a top priority in school, which is a very good thing. So when they enter their classes, they start to take breathing exercises. They start to have a conversation with their teachers about their mental state. So these types of classes now, when for these kids, are basically teaching them to question things, teaching them to ask questions, and get their questions answered. Because as
Well,
we mentioned before, we've never had the chance to get our questions answered. But now it's happening. So critical thinking is increasing, which I really do appreciate.
but which schools are doing that?
From what I'm seeing, there are a lot of private schools, and from what I know, especially in Bahrain, there are two that do it. Okay, but what I like, so that's a very small percentage. I would say that's what, like 3% maybe. 3% is better than 0%. I love that change because I know there are new schools that are also opening up in Bahrain, and there is a big change that I believe that's going to happen. So once it happens in a very small place, the domino effect increases, because they're seeing new statistics, they're seeing bigger changes. Now their ratings get better because their attendance will get better, their mental health will get better, so once these rise up, other schools will want to implement this new system. So it just needs a bit of time, and I can imagine if it's happening here, it's happening all over the world as well.
You're talking about implementing a new system, but where is that teaching them questioning everything?
I'm sorry, how is that teaching
How is
them?
that teaching them to question everything? Okay, you're introducing a new system, and again, they're blindly following it.
Mhm.
You realize that?
But this system is more towards them now. It's not towards the system is more towards them. So the Finland example that I'm giving you, this system is being implemented, but very small. It's taking its time, Like I said, so they're introducing breathing exercises, talking about their mental state in front of the entire class, just to try to make it a safe space for everyone to talk. So now it's all about them. It's all about the students. It's not about the teachers. The teachers are only there to basically have their questions answered.
But then,
Always getting that wrong.
but then you realize worldwide, the newer the generation, the more horrible they are in their social skills, communication skills.
Why is that?
I guess that's the effect of being on their phone and,
Yeah,
and
for
spending
sure.
a lot of time, on these gadgets and devices all the time. So when you are not able to communicate, with someone socially, as in face to face, one on one, how are you going to be a functioning member of society when you're too socially awkward to make eye contact, when you freak out when someone wants to have a conversation with you face to face, when someone just smiles at you or says hello and you assume they're predators or they're out there to harm you or do you harm? How are all these different systems or newer systems that are being implemented are gonna make us better when we our ability to socially communicate and interact is the worst that it has ever been.
The world society has its ups and downs, and especially with the media playing a big role in it, it's very hard to find that balance that we're looking for, and I completely understand that. But as an agent of socialization, especially for you when you're a kid, schools are your beginning point to opening up your social lifestyle. These changes, they're being implemented nowadays, and I can assume that they need a lot of time for people to get used to it because these are new systems that are being implemented now. So there's going to be a lot of faults in it, but there is hope that it would continue to get better and better once they find new solutions to more questions. So with the media and technology playing a role in it, there needs to be a structured balance in schools in order for it to find that solution for children to be off their phones and more towards fixing up their social life, their academics, and focusing on how to better themselves and to be a part of society.
Yeah.
So like these systems, I believe, would bring in new members of society, but I could see a bit of the repercussions from it, the disadvantages. But like I said, it's better than nothing for the time being.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, when I'll be very real with you. I was a horrible kid at school. I was very bad. Like I was one of those bad students. Like up until grade 9, like the first year of high school, I kind of toned down a bit. But before that, dude, I was horrible. So imagine if I had those systems of where you give me you give me that basically choice of thinking for myself and making my own decisions and making me focus more on myself in school, I would be a different person standing in front of you, But I never had that. But now they have that, So that means behaviors would change in school, So it would decrease, like unwanted behavior would decrease in school. Teachers would tend to listen more to students, They would tend to help them more. Now the rise of counselors and social workers, in schools, they're very required. So that's a very good start. The better you basically you help the education system, the better the student and the person comes out.
I agree. I agree. But have you noticed, like, if you give it a thought, and I'm not sure I'm right, but have you noticed that the previous generation, our parents, were more sociable than we are in terms of their social skills, in terms of how hospitable they are or were?
Because they never had this.
Yes. And then you look at us and compare yourself to our younger cousins who are 10 years or
that know so much about tech than like we do, like, and we still are gens, like the young generation here, and we don't know crap from what they know. They know so much
about technology.
Yeah.
But what about their communication skills? It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. I look at my younger cousins. They're very smart. They're very tech savvy. But how would they deal with society if you let them loose? Mm-hmm. I remember my parents used to send me to the grocery store when I was 5. I had to cross the street
by yourself,
by myself, hand me cash. That means at the age of 5 or 6, I was able to go to the grocery store, get bread, get milk, get eggs, cross the street. My parents never had to freak out. Oh no, he's 6, he's 5.
Let him figure it out.
Exactly. I'm assuming your parents did that too.
I'll tell you a story once we're done. I'll tell you my story.
And same with my brothers. We were pretty young when my parents used to send us grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. That means we were not old, but we were mature enough to be able to go somewhere without our parents, without a chaperone, without a nanny, and we were able to have a transaction of some sort. All right, I need eggs, I need milk. How much is that? All right, this is cash. This is my change. I'm going to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so normal.
But nowadays, if you give it
no way. You don't do that anymore.
Let me tell you a story about when I used to grow up. I used to be a very wild kid, like when I was young, especially like whenever my mom would take me to malls or something like that. As soon as we entered the mall door, like, as soon as that gate opened, you just see like dust behind me. I'm gone, dude. Like I'm freaking gone. I'm out of here. So basically, and I had a nanny with me. My mom would buy her like proper sports shoes because she knew as soon as I entered the mall, I'm gone. I'm out of here. And she would just chase me the entire time. So I used to take initiative as soon as we entered the mall. So, a lot of kids wouldn't have that privilege nowadays. I can't imagine their moms letting them go that easy, because moms got to keep their eyes on their kids. But for me, my mom used to let me go. So she used to let me be that independent kid since I was young from the start. As soon as I would walk into the mall, I already know where I'm going. And I'm 5 and 4 here. How can a 4-year-old kid already memorize the entire mall? Because she let me go.
Exactly.
So I had my nanny with me, and I didn't even care that she was behind me.
And they never freaked out.
They never freaked out, and they knew my nanny was right behind me. But I never cared that my nanny was behind me. I already knew where I was going. So basically, and my mom actually was telling that to me a couple of days ago. She reminded me actually of this. You know, I told her, you see, so this is the independence that you gave me when I was young. You let me go. You know, but if you, but during like kids my age those days, it never like would never know the directions of the mall like how I did. I remember once me and my cousins we got lost for a second, and I knew what to do to find my family. And it was just like I think I was like 7 or 8 years old here, and we got lost in the mall. I knew that I had to go to the security guard, and then like I would tell him, hey, I lost my mom and my aunt, and we need to find them. And they would like intercom, hey, we lost these kids, blah blah blah, and then my mom would come to me afterwards. So I knew how to handle it.
So you were responsible at a very young age.
I was so responsible.
You were able to think for yourself.
Oh, dude, for sure. And I love those days, man, because you know when you let it like for personally for me, when you let me go and you let me be free, like I knew how to take care of myself. But like if you put me with the system and tell me what to do, I would be very lost. But that's personally for me, you know. But other people maybe they like it, you know. But I believe with the future of these kids, and I hope with the system that's being built, this is what's gonna make them, what's gonna lead them to start thinking of, if I'm lost, I know what to do.
Yes, exactly.
I would know how to handle my financials if I'm giving X amount of money. I would know how to contact my family if I would ever be lost.
Yeah.
I would know how to make my decisions for myself on the spot. So it's all there, man. And I hope that's where the education system is going to lead to one way or another.
I really hope so. I don't see it going there. I hope so, but I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful we were one of the last batches that survived the social crisis. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
But
yeah,
may God have mercy, I guess.
Nice one.